Hi, I'm Janaea Donaldson, and I'm the host of Peak Moment Conversations. This is a talk I gave in March of '08 on living sustainably and how that's affected who I am. The event was for Gather the Women of Nevada County, and it was about being the change we want to see in the world. I welcome your comments on my journal at peakmoment.tv/journal. Thanks.
Grow old with me, my woods. Long after I am gone, they will not cut you down. No, you will not be cut down before your time. You will fall when you are ready. For it is a death before one's time that brings our large grief. You're being cut without respect, without prayers of forgiveness and promise of good use. Cut and taken away as if you had no song. This brings the large grief, a loss echoed now all over the earth, as forests ancient and young, Gaia's breath, are cut down. Our grief, so big, it feels we all may drown. Here on this land, Lone Bobcat Woods, we promise you, long after we are gone, they will not cut you down. 1956. The night cricket's tsk, tsk, echoes softly in the redwoods around our family's cabin. I'm about 8 years old, and I lie in bed and I'm imagining. And I imagine that I am living inside this huge, hollowed out, living redwood tree, and it has a wood stove with the stovepipe going up the tree side, way, 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 to the top of the branches where the smoke diffuses among the branches. That way, the men walking in the woods won't find me. I don't know who they are, only that they're not safe. And that tree and those woods are my safe haven. 1973. I am absolutely entranced watching the film Harold and Maude. Harold's life is tightly, tightly constrained by civilization, and his spirit is dying. Maude has found a much better way to live, at the margins of dominator culture, in her own quirkiness and her own love for life. When Maude sees this little tree dying on an urban sidewalk, she digs it up, without permission, of course, and she puts it in a vehicle she has borrowed for the purpose, and she plants it in a redwood forest. I am absolutely enthralled by Maude. I want to be her. I want to live like her. I want to live so that all of our uniquenesses can blossom. 1976. I am living in such a place. It's called Journey Inn. We are a household-sized heart family of women, begun by 3 of us. And number 2 is Georgia, Marilyn's partner. We help in healing each other. We make it safe to cry and to rage and to clear out that shadowy stuff that we have buried inside. I discover my shy inner child, Polly. My body armor softens. I don't need to keep trying to prove to the boys that I'm their equal. I find myself in this women's house. For 8 years, I live in this safe haven grounded in feminine wisdom, non-hierarchical, valuing emotions, intuition, the body's wisdom, process, even more than results. Yes, Maude, we blossomed. 1990, Robin and I moved to Round Mountain, so we can live in the woods. We buy one of 4 40-acre parcels near the South Yuba River. We are still tied to dominator culture, but we get out as far on the margins as we can. We telecommute, working our high-tech Silicon Valley jobs from home. And we save our money. I want financial independence in 5 years. I don't want to have to work for a living. We put a small manufactured house on the land. We install solar panels ourselves. Our downwood feeds our little wood stove that we cozy around every winter. Every penny saved is a step toward freedom. 1993. I'm standing in the meadow in the front of our little house at Lone Bobcat Woods, and in the near distance, I hear the angry buzz of a chainsaw, and then a sickening clump shakes the earth. My heart is heavy. Our neighbor is logging the largest pines and cedars. I weep as I walk among the fallen elders. In the 3 years we've lived here, these woods have become part of my body. It is a death before one's time that brings our large grief. You're being cut without respect, without prayers of forgiveness and promise of good use, cut and taken away as if you had no song. 1993. Robin whispers her imagining. What if all 160 acres on Round Mountain were kept wild? Yes, yes, yes. Through some absolutely impossible synchronicities, we acquire the other 3 parcels. We place conservation easements on them so they can never be developed, and the largest trees can never be cut, ever. Doing this pushes financial independence out. But now this mountain, surrounded by public land, is a safe haven not only for us, but for all the beings who live here. No, you will not be cut down before your time. Words on paper, law words and science words, as strong as can be found, carry that promise. 2005. News that peak oil may soon be upon us hits my radar. I turn into an internet infomaniac. What can we do? Some sensible answers arise. Consume less, produce locally. I co-found Apple, the Alliance for a Post-Petroleum Local Economy, to help awaken our community, because we can't do this alone. Katrina strikes. Climate chaos is accelerating much more rapidly than they'd thought. I feel a deep urgency. Consume less? We're partway there. Our home and our business use 10% of the electricity of the average American home. We generally just take 1 car trip to town a week. Produce locally. Well, we're getting local raw milk and eggs. It's a start. 2006. Robin and I begin Peak Moment Conversations as a weekly show for NCTV television right here in the community on cable. She's the videographer and the director. I'm the host and the producer. I talk with local people working towards sustainability, food producers, solar installers, bike commuters. How are people responding elsewhere? In summer 2006, we climb into our van again, and we tape about 85 shows in over 20 communities along the West Coast between Vancouver and Santa Barbara. We are absolutely inspired by just wonderful, caring people who are exploring lighter ways to live. I am an evoker, a listener. I'm not a subject expert on this. The Peak Moment conversations are shared explorations, female style. We talk about electric vehicles and permaculture and community gardens and co-housing and ecotherapy. Robin puts the programs on YouTube. Our viewership goes international. 2008. I didn't expect to be living in the greatest crisis humanity has ever faced. I didn't expect to be living when humans in population overshoot burned so many fossil fuels that the earth would acquire a massive fever. Earth is dying long before her time and at our hands. This brings the large grief, a loss echoed now all over the earth. Our grief so big, it feels we all may drown. I'm becoming the planet. I feel pain for the mass extinctions, for the multitudes who will suffer, for the multitudes who are already suffering, because civilization is unraveling, and we see the symptoms all around us. It will be very, very bumpy. But maybe, just maybe, the collapse of civilization will become our initiation into a better way to live. Those living at the margins may be our best teachers on how to live a radically simpler and even happier life in the years ahead. We will need many more heralds and mods and journey-ins and peak moment guests and good women gathered. Maud has seen collapse. She survived a concentration camp. Yet she relishes life with vigor. She says to Harold, L-I-V-E, live. That way, you got something to talk about in the locker room afterwards. In the end, Harold does choose to step outside the constraints of civilization, and he chooses to live his life. I'm with you, Harold. When I join Maud in the locker room, I want to tell her I did what I could.